Alright, we're going to continue Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. We were previously on Route 203, and we're going to now continue into the Oreburgh Cave. Oreburgh Gate. The hiker at the entrance gives you TM98, which is Rock Smash. FYI, when you use a technical machine to teach your Pokemon to move, that TM will then break. So they're one use. They've also added a Hidden Moves app. So the TM can also be an HM in a sense. But you'll need the gym badge from Oreburgh City first to use Rock Smash. Hidden moves are called HMs. If you keep going to the right, one more trainer named Camper Curtis. Camper Curtis has a Shinx, level 7. Which can use Thunder Shock against a Piplup, which is super effective, but it's just too low level. $392G for beating the camper. Let's go up top real quick and see what's up there. In the meantime, you can run into Pokemon like wild Zubats here. You go up, you're blocked by rocks. That you can't Rock Smash yet. You are able to catch a Geodude here. And the Geodude, if you catch one, does have an advantage in that it can use Rock Smash as an HM once you've gotten the Oreburgh gym badge. Right now I'm using Pound on Piplup to try and knock down its health without using Water Gun to knock it out. Which will take a little while to knock down its health. Go ahead and knock Geodude down to yellow, and then we'll try to throw balls at it. Let's knock it down a little bit more first. Geodude and certain Pokemon can use something to get like Sandstorm or some other move like that to just do damage every single turn. We caught a Geodude. I'm gonna quickly heal and then come back. Just gonna use the Pokemon Center because why not? It's not a big deal. Plus, that would also heal my Geodude. While pressing B to use running shoes to run. Even without a bike, I can get through areas quickly enough. And we'll go back right again and go to the next camper. Picnicker Diana. Starting with a Badoo, which is a grass type Pokemon, and also a poison type Pokemon. That eventually evolves into Rosalia. It does have Stun Spore as a move, which will paralyze whichever Pokemon you've got in. So that's a little annoying. Because paralysis takes away your ability to use a move potentially. And also slows your Pokemon down, so it might not be able to attack first, even though it otherwise would have been able to do that. You can switch Pokemon after you knock out another Pokemon. I haven't done that, but it's always something you can do. Level 5 Psyduck. For Diana. And the Quick Claw is useful here because, well, paralysis knocking down Piplup's speed to being below the Psyduck. But the Quick Claw allowed me to go in faster than Psyduck again. Being Diana gets you 380 G. And then you're in Oreburgh City, the city of energy. If you don't have the Oreburgh City Gym, you're going to be seen as a noob, so you need to know where it is. There's someone there. Let's go ahead and talk to some people first. And then we'll go and talk to our rival. Gym Leader isn't just like any trainer you meet. I take as many Pokemon as I can if I were you. There are 8 gym leaders in the Sinnoh region. The objective for trainers is to get gym leaders from them all. If you go upstairs in that northwest house, you can talk to the lady on the 2nd floor and get a Dusk Ball, which helps you catch Pokemon in darkness, like at night or in a cave. The guys apparently named their Psyduck yellow just because of their color. And the sister says, I don't understand the logic behind it at all. In the next area, you can trade a Machop for an Abra if you catch a Machop, so you would have to actually catch a Machop first. But keep that in mind, you can trade later. Pokemon obtained in a trade grows quickly, but if a Pokemon grows too much, it will often ignore the trainer. This stops mattering when you have a lot of gym badges. All Pokemon have a special power called an ability. You can show someone a Zubat on the top floor of that 2nd house, and he will give you a Heal Ball, which we've talked about automatically heals the Pokemon you catch on the spot, which only really matters if you have less than 5 Pokemon in your lineup, and actually, or you have that Pokemon join your lineup. There's also Pokemart on the top, where you can restock on items. Hiker there says the badges that Pokemon gyms give you are a measure of a trainer's worth. By getting more badges, you get to buy more items in Pokemarts. So unlike in the earlier games, this automatically upgrades to later Pokemarts. So in the earlier games, you would catch, you would just get fewer items in the earlier cities Pokemarts, but this in later games that upgrades. So that even the earlier cities you can get the same items. So now you're able to also buy net balls, but otherwise it's the same thing. At this point you should have plenty of Pokeballs unless you're trying to catch literally every single Pokemon you see and you're just running around the grass. Of the 20 Pokeballs you got. Roark is a user of Rock-type Pokemon. He's a young gym leader that keeps the mine running safely and has gone to work in the mine. North from the city's Route 207, we're not going to do much with it at this point. There's a mining museum. On the northeast part of town. There's one person who's close to being able to extract Pokemon from fossils. Oreburgh City's museum, mining museum. You can come back later and you'll be able to bring fossils over here. that you get. There's a hiker who says, I always have a rotten time trying to decide which moves my Pokemon should learn. In most cases, it's going to be your higher powered moves. Status moves are useful. Like something that paralyzes is going to be pretty useful. Something that poisons is going to be pretty useful, like Toxic, for example. Priority moves like Quick Attack, Attack First, they're going to be useful moves. And certain stat moves can be useful. Sword Stance, for example, is a Pokemon move that increases your special attack. That's going to be really good. Those are the kind of moves you want to keep. Plus, strong HM type moves like Surf are going to be useful in the overworld as well. If you go upstairs in the eastern house kind of area, then you'll be able to get a Great Ball. Great Balls can have a better catch rate and are blue than Pokeballs. Right, we'll go back down. We're just exploring the town. Will we actually do anything? Pokemon Center is more on the eastern side. There are a few people in there. You can change your appearance for the Union Room. You can trade in the Global Club. Underground is still down for a while. You can obviously heal at the Pokemon Center, which you should do here. In speedrunning, it's called taking the center. Because even in speedrunning, you often will want to go to the Pokemon Center when you're at one. You just wouldn't run back towards one after you passed one. We'll check out the mine on the southeast side in a little bit, but let's go and check out the stuff right around the gym. Pokemon have different natures, and that does affect the stat lines for Pokemon. There are shiny Pokemon that are different colors. In most games, they're pretty rare. In newer games, they've gotten a little more common, but they're like in the Pokemon Legends Arceus and ZNA kind of games. Alright, let's talk to the rival in front of the gym. He says, "You're so slow, the gym leader's long gone now." He's already gotten his badge, but he's blocking the gym? Why is he just blocking the gym? Alright, we're gonna go to the southeast part of town and head towards the mine. Go downstairs and you're at the Oreburgh Mine. There are wild Pokemon that show up here, like Geodudes. So if you haven't already caught a Geodude, this is a good chance for you to do so. Geodudes often have an ability called Sturdy, which is like the balloon, the red balloon item where it can hold on, and you basically won't get knocked out. You'll be knocked all the way down up to 1 health. That Pokemon goes down to 1 health, and like actually could have done that earlier to try to catch one, rather than whittle it down with other moves. Still like good idea to just keep leveling after starter at this point. Unlike in certain other Pokemon games where you could speedrun, like Pokemon Red Blue, where you might start trying to train up a Nidoran male. Or using Lillipup in Pokemon White and Black 1. There's not a Pokemon this early on that's like that. You can pick him in X Defense in the first room of the mine on the right side. If you keep going down, though, you're going to start running into some miners with Machops. We're trying to do work down there. But if you talk to the second worker Mason's going to fight you with one of these Machops. Level 9 Machop. $648G for beating a level 9 Machop. After that battle, you go down, you can pick up a potion. And then the next miner basically shows you the hidden move, Rock Smash. You can just smash fallen boulders. But you have to beat the gym leader first, and apparently that is the gym leader. He just runs off. You talk to him. With all these Geodudes, your grass or water type starter moves are going to be good against it. A bit more challenging if you start with a Chimchar, because you probably want to catch a Machop in this area. First, Machop's going to be caught on Route 207 north of Oreburgh City. Worker Collins also got Geodude to fight. Again, grass or water moves are preferred. Fighting moves can be a decent difference. Or Colin's also got an Onyx, so kind of a classic Geodude Onyx kind of lineup like Brock would have in Pewter City's gym in the original games, but lower level here, obviously. Beating Colin would be 560 G. He says he'd rather be traveling around Pokemon the way you do. So really two ways you can do this, right? In terms of if you are trying to speed run, you wouldn't even be running further than here. You would just go back and go towards fighting the gym. You might even consider even a repel if you have one this early, but you kind of know that you wouldn't have a repel. Well, you have one repel this early on in the game. You could use in a cave like this. Escape rope right here. If you were speed running, you would want to use an escape rope to get out of here quickly. I'm not going to worry about that because I'm not speed running the game. Then using an escape rope could be faster. This would, after this, definitely a good opportunity to go to the Pokemon Center before entering the gym. Even speedrunners would do that at this stage. Let's see, we've got Geodude, able to learn Rollout as a move. Defense Curl will replace that with Rollout on Geodude. We're just gonna run back. We'll fight every Geodude on the way out. Oh, and we have an Onyx. Onyx is a bit less common in this area, but still viable. I'm gonna switch Pokemon so it doesn't just get knocked out right away. Actually, that's probably not the best switch because it's a rock type. Oh well. Flying type is not a good setup for at least I'm curious how much damage you can do though. None of these Pokemon are actually really all that good against Onyx. But yeah, Starly's under wrap right now, so I can't switch. Having Starly knock it down to yellow bar, which is below hull, hopefully. And bring in Piplup, because Piplup's probably not going to knock it out with a non-water move. Alright, let's throw a ball at it. Onyx will be the 7th Pokemon. It's going to be sent to the Pokemon box that you have to go to the PC to grab. Bite can replace Leer as a move, because Bite is not... Bite is a decent move at 60 power. Leer really doesn't do anything, so... Onix can move at 50 miles per hour. The Rock Snake Pokemon. We're just running all the way back. Getting past all these rocks and short paths, we're going up the stairs back to Oreburgh City. We're going to go briefly up to Route 207 to catch a Machop. You just go north from Oreburgh City, walk into the wild grass. Mostly illustrating for the people who have Chimchar. Because of the gym, this is a Pokemon they may want to go for. Because Machop's fighting moves could be useful for this gym. But it's also more than that, right? Because you can also trade a Machop for an Abra. Which in fact could be an interesting trade, so I'm going to actually catch 2 Machops here, which would allow me to trade one of them. Not necessarily need to catch 2 Machops, but we're going to trade one of these. Just because you can't get an Abra this early on in the game, so it's a nice opportunity. Plus, if you're a completionist and want to do all the trades, you will have both Machop and the Abra. We can add this one. Actually, no. Let's swap out the other one because this one's level 6. Okay, heading south back down to Oreburgh City. We're gonna go ahead and pull out one of the Machops. So if you look at summary, right? If you look at the actual moves, is low kick is a move. Low kick is a move that can do some damage against heavy targets. Rock types tend to be heavy targets, especially something like Onyx, so it can do quite a bit of damage. In this case, though, we are just gonna do a switch with the level 5 Machop coming out to... We're gonna replace the Zubat, but we're gonna use that to trade after we heal at the Pokemon Center. So we go back to the city, or the house next to the Pokémart. And then you can trade a Machop for an Abra right in the, near the entrance. That little girl will trade. We're trading Machop to Hillary with the spelling Hilary. The Abra is called Kazza, Kazza. Abra sleeps for 18 hours a day like a cat. Even when awake, it teleports itself while remaining seated. So we trade for an Abra. The Abra is level 9. Teleport as a move. Look at this. Abra can switch places with another party Pokemon and be used to warp to the last Pokemon Center visited. That's a nice ability. And new. That you can just teleport. So that's a really cool ability for Abra. Or Kazza. Alright, let's go and get ready for the first gym. We are now 2 hours and 14 minutes in. 13 Pokemon in the Pokédex. Where your rival was. Barry is a certified trainer who has just beaten Roark. That's what certified trainer means. He was called an impatient boy. His gym leader is a user of rock-type Pokemon. They really hate water. They're also weak to grass-type moves. You can also use fighting moves. Points out that going after a rock-type Pokemon with a fire-type won't be easy. So you can keep going up. You can actually skip all these trainers, essentially, on the way up, but it's good to get the training experience, unless you're speedrunning, really. We first got youngster Jonathan, Jonathon, with a Geodude. Winning against Jonathan, 440G. We're going to keep going up and fight the other trainer. Youngster Darius. Normally at this point I would want to, after beating Youngster Darius, who does have another Pokemon in a level 8 Onix, I would want to go back and heal or at the Pokemon Center, but since we have Piplup, Piplup's just going to run through everything, not a big deal. Already level 15. In the case of Piplup, Piplup can learn the move Peck, which is a 35 power move. Not the strongest move, but it's better than Growl, so we're going to replace Growl. $416G. Alright, we are now at the Gym Leader Roark. I always recommend saving before the Gym Leader battle. I'm going to go ahead and do that here at 217. Roark says you're in the Oreburgh Pokemon Gym. He's walked proudly with Rock-type Pokemon and needs to see your potential as a trainer. First, he's got a level 12 Geodude. So in the case of Piplup, pretty easy start using your water moves. Water Gun's going to be effective against level 12 Onix as well. This isn't really any more challenging if you were to use Turtwig, because Turtwig can use Absorb as a move. And really, or even Razor Leaf potentially as a move at this point. And it's going to do a good amount of damage. Chimchar would struggle a bit, mainly because its Ember's not going to be all that effective. And that's where potentially using Machop is a possibility. Starly's got Double Team as a move. You might as well replace Growl with it if you have one. Machop is generally good for this gym if you do have Chimchar, though. You would use Low Kick. You can also use Focus Energy potentially to make it a little stronger. Does Geodude want to learn Harden? Absolutely not. Harden's not a good move. And finally, Roark has Cranidos. Again, use Razor Leaf or Water Gun or potentially Low Kick. I mean, if you have Revenge as a move, you can also use that. Alright, beat Cranidos. 1960G for winning. It's a lot of money early on. Roark is embarrassed and lost to a trainer without a single gym badge. He says you're strong and he was weak. So according to the rules, he's a rule follower. He's going to give you a gym badge. It's called the Coal Badge. So you can put that in your case. You can now use the hidden move Rock Smash from your Pokétch. TM76 is now available, which includes Stealth Rock. Stealth Rock is actually an excellent move in competitive play because it's a move that inflicts damage on opponents that switch into battle, and in competitive Pokemon, you are switching a lot into and out of matchups. You want to switch Pokemon into a good matchup, you want to switch Pokemon out of a bad one, and Stealth Rock really prevents switching. As in, because if you every time you switch in a Pokemon, it'll do chip damage. TM will teach its move to a Pokemon instantly, but it will also break when you use it. No need to use Stealth Rock at this point, although it is a good competitive move once you figure out where you want to put that Pokemon. Stealth Rock is very good against flying types, as you might expect, because it is a rock type kind of move. So excellent, we have finished this gym. We're going to go and heal and then that's probably a good save point. Alright, 223. Gonna save here for now. Thanks for watching.